Hello beer fans, welcome to this beer review of this beer, which is Harpers English Pale Ale. Now, as you can probably tell from the thumbnail, I think this is probably going to be a clone of Old Speckled Hen, which is an absolutely fantastic beer from Greene. Reason being, if you can't see it from this, but if you look at the old label, I think it's a spit of this. I think it's very much similar to this. Now, I do prefer the old. It's one of the few beers I prefer the old label to it rather than new. I think the new one just looks a bit cheap. But this is a beer that I usually have in all the time. I love Greene. I think Greene are a very, very fine brewer. So for somebody to take on Greene, particularly a cheaper supermarket, it's going to be a good one, isn't it? Interestingly enough, though, I think this is probably, and I've not really looked into it, but a lot of the Harpers beers, which is the brand this is brewed under, are actually brewed by Marston's. So a big brewer in the UK, probably as big as Greene. So this one's going to be interesting. Comes at 4.8% ABV, exactly the same as Old Speckled Hen. £4.49 for 500ml cans, so it's £1.12 a can, something like that. So this test, it's not a test, I'm not doing one against the other. This is going to be interesting to try this. Welcome to Andy's Beer Reviews, everybody. Yep, this pale ale from Aldi, I still think looks like the old Speckled Hen cans. So I'm interested what this is like. Again, it comes in at 4.8%, exactly the same as Old Speckled Hen. That's always a big giveaway. If they use similar colours, I mean, they've used similar colours to that bottle anyway, haven't they? But with a picture of the can, it's even more like it. And it's doing the same ABV, and we know that these cheap brewers like to do the clones. And to be fair, they tend to be very, 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 very good at the clones, these cheap supermarkets. And if this is brewed by Marston's, like I say, Marston's are famous for exactly the same way the Greene are, for their really malty, fruity beers. So they know how to brew a beer like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's get it into a glass. I've been away for a little while. It sounds like I've been in prison. I'm not being in prison. I got vertigo on Friday night, and I just haven't been able to face beer since then. I'm over it now. It took a while. It was a long, long bout of vertigo I had. Hated it. Last Saturday, I didn't get out of bed till about 4 o'clock. I was up for a couple of hours. I went straight back to bed again. Absolutely awful. There. But we're back in the alehouse and we're back drinking. Look at the colour of that. In fact, colour-wise, I'm not doing a like-for-like comparison, but comparable for colour. I'm sure you can see that. There you go. Now, I don't think Marston's as good as Greene, so this is going to be doubly interesting from that perspective. I will do the aroma. I wasn't going to because it's a supermarket beer, but because I know Old Speckled Hen quite well, it'd be interesting. It does smell like Old Speckled Hen. It's not as malty, I'll give it that. But it does smell like it. I might have to get some cans of Old Speckled Hen and do a side-by-side comparison. It looks like Old Speckled Hen. It does smell like Old Speckled Hen. That's what it tastes like. Cheers, everybody. The taste is very similar as well. It's even got that little bit of a little bit of spiciness on the back end as well. This I could drink. Just tastes like it. Bizarre. It's good. I do like the way. I like the way these cheap brewers do this. One, it makes a good ale, Old Speckled Hen, available to a lot more people because obviously, what I say, £1.12 a can. It's phenomenal for a 500ml can of a good quality beer at 4.8%, I think that's a phenomenal price. I think that's really good. They are going to sell an absolute shitload of these beers. No doubt about it. The flavours are there. You got that maltiness, you got a little bit of toffee coming through. Just like I get with the Old Speckled Hen, there's a little bit of citrus in there as well. Not a bad bitterness. I've probably let this get a little bit colder than it should have done. Otherwise, those flavours, when this warms up, it's going to be so close to the flavour of that. It's got a little bit of spices in the back of it as well. Lovely bittersweet finish. This is stand up for itself. Let's not talk about its cloning for a minute. That is a decent beer at a good price. Very decent beer at a good price. Against Old Speckled Hen, very close. It is very close. I would say this probably isn't as malty. I'm not getting as much toffee flavour. Like I said, I probably have let it go a little bit too cold. So it'll be interesting as this warms up. I might just take one in after this and just let it warm up a little bit more. But I still don't think it's going to come out as malty, as toffee as Speckled Hen. But the rest of it, I think, is there. I think it's just missing for me. If it is a clone, just missing for me that little toffee flavour. It's there. It's just not there as much as it should be. And maybe, just maybe, it's just lacking a little bit of smoothness, a little bit of the body, those sorts of things. It is just lacking a little bit, but not lacking a lot, to be fair. So yeah, so against Old Speckled Hen, this is a very close. If you like Old Speckled Hen, I think you'll like this. Like I said, £4.50 for 4 cans. You can't go far wrong nowadays, can you? With the cost of living nowadays, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I think it's as a beer, it stands up on its own a little bit. It could do with being a little bit sweeter, a little bit more toffee in there, just a little bit smooth, a little bit more rounded. That's all it's missing, but it's okay as a beer. Flavour still there a little bit. It's just a little tailed off a little bit too quickly at the end, maybe a little bit more than Old Speckled Hen, but still, I think it's good. I think this is a good 7 out of 10 beer. 7 out of 10 from Andy's Beer Reviews. Thanks for watching. Comment as usual if you enjoy this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for instant notifications when these go live, because you can't guarantee, because they've been poorly, that these will go live every single day. They usually do. That's it. As always, everybody, please drink responsibly. Enjoy your beers. Cheers.